your station.
This is Bermuda Broadcasting.
You're watching Bermuda Tonight. It's a Monday, December the 3rd, 2018. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us. A coroner's inquest has begun into the events leading up to the death of 19-year-old rugby player Mark Dombrowski. The St. Joseph University freshman was visiting the island for a tournament when he was reported missing after a night out in Hamilton. His body was found 2 days later at the bottom of an old moat at the Fort Prospect, following an island-wide search on March the 19th. Jasmine Patterson brings us up to date.
The family of Mark Dombrowski have flown in for the inquest, which is expected to last 3 days. Acting Senior Magistrate Maxanne Anderson said the purpose of the inquest is to determine who the deceased was and to find out how, when, and where was the cause of death. She stressed the inquest is not framed to determine any criminal or civil liability. An autopsy report published in March said Mr. Dombrowski died as a result of an accidental fall from 35 feet, and an independent pathologist said he found no evidence of foul play in the post-mortem exam. Sergeant Travis Powell, representing the coroner's office today, presented audio interviews of several close friends and teammates of Mark's. Jack Heffernan was Mark's bunkmate at Warwick Regiment during the rugby tour and was interviewed at FBI offices in Pennsylvania by Bermuda Police Detective Jason Smith. Asked whether Mark had been acting strange before he went missing, he said it was odd on one occasion when Mark went for a walk through the trails on his own one morning. He says the deceased had confided in him that he was having problems with his girlfriend and was afraid they may split. However, he was encouraged to just have a good time while in Bermuda. After their final rugby match on Saturday, March 17th, he said the group began having drinks at the camp and they traveled to Hamilton by taxi for a night out, starting at the Docksiders pub and restaurant. He recalls Mark was also drinking, but not heavily. The group then rejoined the rest of the team at the Doghouse Bar on Front Street, where he noticed Mark was often by himself. Another teammate interviewed, Brendan Mulqueen, said Mark was an upbeat individual, and so it was unusual to find Mark on the dance floor standing alone. He had asked Mark if he was okay, but he, quote, brushed me off. Brendan told officers he called Mark's phone around 2:30 a.m. once he returned to the barracks, but it went straight to voicemail. A third teammate, Andrew Sullivan, was the last person to talk to Mark before his death. He says he noticed that Mark's attitude changed halfway into the night, saying he didn't want any part of the team. Earlier, he noticed Mark trying to access his phone but was unable to. He later saw Mark angrily punch a pillar outside of the club and began to swear at everyone. He crossed the street, and Andrew said he tried unsuccessfully to calm him down. He offered Mark $30 to make sure he got back to Warwick Camp safely, but he walked off and didn't return. He sent a text message to him, but it went unanswered. Later, after midnight, the team began to ask questions about his whereabouts, but when he didn't return the next morning, they searched the barracks to no avail. One partygoer, Bermudian Natasha Simmons, voluntarily gave information about that night to police. She said while St. Patrick's Day festivities were happening, she was standing at the bar at the Doghouse with her sister when they saw a group of rowdy college students enter the bar area. One of the students, she said, tried to stand in between them, and he just stared blankly at her with drowsy eyes. She later recognized his face when a missing persons report was publicized the next day. The inquest continues. Jasmine Patterson reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Jasmine. Well, the former head of the Islands Construction Association is calling for more development of Bermudians in the industry to eventually cut down on reliance on foreign expertise. Charles Dunstan, whose tenure as association president ended last week, believes more must be done to encourage students to choose a career in construction along with apprenticeships. Tarai Trott has the details.
Charles Dunstan has spent his career in the island's construction industry. He applauds the many areas of progress made in the current construction industry in terms of training and other areas, but he is concerned about the future of the industry.
The biggest area that I probably have some personal disappointment in is lack of progress in our development of our workforce.
By development, Mr. Dunstan is referring to the calls for Bermudian numbers to be bolstered within the construction industry.
There's too much preponderance on or requirement for work permit support for qualified, experienced tradesmen. And I use the qualified loosely because, quite frankly, our industry suffers from a lack of qualification and the requirement for certification.
According to the 2018 Labor Force Survey, there were 2,700 people employed in the industry. Elsewhere, Mr. Dunstan believes expectations that every student will go on to obtain a college education and work in their desired field must be more measured.
I was reading a report just recently that came out from workforce development in the U.S., which largely mirrors what we experience here to a large degree. Something like 3 out of 10 jobs, only 3 out of 10 jobs actually require a college education or above. That leaves 7 out of 10 jobs out there that could function quite well in the community, in the economy, and contribute.
The former Construction Association boss believes the future of a construction industry dominated by Bermudian expertise will require 2 things to happen. The first is an early exposure to the industry to young students.
And so the kids get pretty good view of safety and handling of tools and bits of design and all these aspects of our industry. Some of our predecessors that came out of the last wave of Bermuda Technical Institute will tell you that their education actually started, their exposure started at a much younger age.
The other requirement for Bermudian development in construction, he points out, is the need for an increase in apprenticeships.
One successful example of that is Belco. I mean, for years they've had a pretty successful apprenticeship program to becoming electrical engineers, and there's any number of guys that have gone, guys and girls, who have gone through those programs, fully supported. Parents have looked at that as a really good track. They know that they've got a structured program. They're going to come out of it with an outcome at the end. They've got a potential for a good job. And really, that's all you can ask.
Mr. Dunstan believes government should require businesses which are granted construction work permits to ensure they have an apprenticeship program in place to help spur Bermudian growth in the industry. Tarai Trott reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Tarai. Well, we'll have more for you after this short break, including the latest from AccuWeather headquarters. Stay with us.
What do you really want, Bermuda, when you're shopping online and getting your online orders from there to here? You want fast service, you want ultra-friendly staff, and you want the lowest possible price. With over 16,000 members using Mailboxes Unlimited U.S. Express service, we are the least expensive on the island by far. 80% cheaper than the couriers. We'll get your packages from there to here fast. That was easy.
Sign up for a U.S. Express account today.
That was easy.
Getting ready for Christmas is all about the finishing touches.
The icing on the cake. The table neatly set. Decorations specially placed. And gifts thoughtfully wrapped. All to share with those we love. In special moments as simple as this.
Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.
Colonial, where people come first.
Surface Trends has been serving Bermuda for over 25 years, supplying and installing tile and natural stone. We have a large in-stock selection of beautiful porcelain wood planking, including our exclusive Bermuda cedar tile. You will also find Bermuda's best in-stock selection of countertops, including natural granites, exotic quartzites, and silestone engineered quartz in all the newest colors. Our team will be happy to help you. Stop by our showroom at 17 Serpentine Road or give us a call at 295-8005.
Treat yourself and your loved ones this Christmas at Diamonds International in Dockyard. Sensational bracelets like this 14 Diamond Dazzler, Asian-inspired jewelry by John Hardy, and Bremont Aviation watches. During the holidays, there is 15 to 75% off all merchandise, and this watch as a free gift with every purchase. Plus 5% of all shopping proceeds will be donated to the LCCA charity. There is nothing comparable on the island to the truly outstanding collection at Diamonds International in Dockyard.
Welcome back. An astronomical increase in Belco's fuel tax payments to government cited as contributing to the increased cost of electricity over the last 3 years, a situation Walter Roban, the minister responsible for energy matters, describes as unsustainable as he explains what his government intends to do to lighten what he deems this burden on the island's economy. Gary Moreno has that story.
A recent newspaper ad by Belco indicated the company is dedicated to reducing rates while meeting the island's evolving energy needs. Well, part of the cost of meeting those energy needs is the government fuel tax, which doubled between 2015 and 2017, skyrocketing from $15 million in 2015 to almost $32 million last year. A development which has Acting Premier and Minister of Home Affairs Walter Raban, who holds responsibility for energy, baffled as to how we arrived here.
I understand that. Those tax increases, I believe you would have to relate to the previous administration. And perhaps you can question them as to their rationale for raising taxes in that manner, because we do believe that that sort of process did incur higher costs to the country and end users in their use of electricity. So this government's mission is to bring that cost down. So we will address that, and hopefully you'll see the nature of the taxes on the industry change, perhaps reduced, I cannot determine, but it will change.
All well and good to blame the previous administration, but what does the current government intend to do to arrest these runaway tax increases?
We are looking to bring down the cost of energy for the country. As in other areas, there is tax reform being carefully studied by this government, and in the spirit of that scrutiny, energy taxes will be looked at and revised to determine what the impact is on the costs for particularly the end user and how we can remove those costs.
According to the minister, energy cost reduction is important to Bermuda's future economic well-being. And as such, it was important for the public to use the opportunity provided through the Integrated Resource Plan, for which the deadline for submissions was last Friday, to have their say on what Bermuda's energy future should look like.
The IRP will provide Bermuda with a plan. It will not belong to Belco. It won't belong to exclusively of any of the people or groups that have submitted proposals. All of their proposed ideas will be factored into consideration because they represent what may be possible now or not possible over the next 20 years.
Elsewhere, a spokesperson for the regulatory authority confirmed to us that approximately 800 responses were received in the IRP public consultation. Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Gary. And we did speak to former Premier Michael Dunkley to find out why there was such a significant increase in Belco's fuel tax bill between 2015 and 2017.
Look, it's very difficult for government to raise revenue, and in doing so, they have tough decisions to make. The tax on fuel has always been a significant revenue contributor from the Bermuda government, and it was put up on Belco, and it will have an impact on every consumer. But if Belco wants to use that for a reason why our fuel costs are high, why our electricity costs are high in Bermuda, and think that they don't have any other challenges to deal with, I don't think that's a debate they want to get into publicly. And I certainly do not want to have a debate back and forth with Belco about what needs to be done. We've had many conversations when I was a premier. I would hope Belco would take those conversations on board, and I would hope they would be really genuine and sincere about trying to improve the productivity and the efficiency there. And the current government is looking at other ways to raise revenue, and if they think the tax on fuel is too high, they can drop it. But when you do that, that means you're going to get some money from somewhere else. And so I think it's a little bit mischievous, I'll use that word again, to highlight that, because Belco has some other real challenges that they need to face, and I would like to support them in making sure we get through that, because Bermuda has some of the highest electricity costs in the world, and we need to do better. Change has come too slow in this area, and we need to face up with it and make it happen in a much quicker pace.
Turning to weather news, rain and very strong winds expected for our Tuesday. Here's the latest from the experts at AccuWeather.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
This AccuWeather forecast is brought to us by our friends at the BF&M Insurance Group, and we have a pretty active start to the week here in Bermuda with a front approaching from the west. We will get wet out there. A lot of rain just off to the west, and there's another disturbance as we approach Wednesday that may prolong a few showers into our forecast into the middle of our 5-day. The sun is setting on things obviously here with this radar loop, but you can see the expansive cloud cover. Here's the radar simulated, at least through the help of satellites, and if there were consistent radar across the western Atlantic, this is what it would look like with a lot of rain out there. Get ready for it. It's going to be a wet time. 73 When we last checked in with you, at least with our Friday night newscast, we were talking about how we were around 67. So at least we're a little warmer than that. That south wind is pretty active at 17 knots. Humidity is high as well. So there will be some showers in the neighborhood tonight with that wind continuing. On the inside, 1 to 3 foot waves. On the outside, 5 to 8 footers still. Because of that, a small craft warning is continuing. It's in effect this evening through tonight and through Tuesday into Tuesday evening. So that's the new hazard out there on the map for our mariners and for our boating friends. High tide was just recently at 5:37. Low tide coming up at 11:43 tonight. High tide early tomorrow morning. Low tide at midday, 12:35. Officially. So mostly cloudy and it will be breezy. Showers will increase later on tonight, rolling in from the west. We'll have to look out for them. Temperatures stay up, only cooling down to 71 tonight. Tomorrow we make it back up to 75. Breezy with a few showers and a thunderstorm. Keep your eyes open for the potential for some thunder and lightning. And perhaps the Bermuda Weather Service may see the need to issue a thunderstorm advisory if things get intense enough on Tuesday. Nothing on that yet, but stay tuned. So here we go with the advancing front, and this will bring some rain. You can see the winds shifting there. That boundary between the westerly and northwesterly winds and the southwesterly winds, that's the front. That'll bring some showers and possibly even a few thunderstorms into the forecast on Tuesday. It'll be an active weather day, windy, not the nicest time out there on the boat, and it will certainly be wet. So showers and thunderstorms are also occurring in Jamaica, Barbados, and Trinidad, scattered showers, but here we are, the first official week outside of the bounds of hurricane season as we close things out here into December. That's good news. It's chilly across much of eastern North America. London's also on the cool side. The exception is Miami. They had some record highs in parts of Florida on Monday, and we may see the warmth continue into South Florida for Tuesday. So stormy on Tuesday. Wednesday, some showers. We may have a few sneaky showers lingering into Thursday morning. Just keep your eyes open for that. We may need to tweak the forecast if things get any more pessimistic with the computer models for a developing system nearby Wednesday night. Thursday and Friday, substantially cooler. You'll notice the change. Look at those lows down to 60 on Thursday and on Saturday as well. We'll send it back to you. Thanks for tuning in.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
I was diagnosed with illness. Very frightening because my son had just turned 1 and it was a cancer. So I'm young, new baby, and I needed to get the care that I knew would be definitive so that I wanted to be around for him for a very long time. I got in contact with BF&M and BF&M was able to commit at that time to doing at least 50%, so we were comfortable, okay, well, we're gonna go. We got off the plane actually the day of the procedure, and on my way to the limo, my case manager called and she says, Kiana, we got it, you're covered at 100%. And I cried all the way to the office because I was just so happy. The BF&M difference is that I really felt that the case manager really was concerned about my overall care, and because of that I really appreciated them. I think that personal care, that willingness to listen, and then to work until they were able to get it so that I could get full coverage really made the difference for me.
Christmas in Bermuda is a special time for most of us. Unfortunately, for some families in Bermuda, there's no warm Christmas. This year, many families will be in need. It's the 30th anniversary of the Lions Clubs of Bermuda and the Marketplace, helping share the Christmas spirit, so let's help take care of each other. Shop at any Marketplace, shopping center, Modern Mart, or A1 stores, and purchase extra tins of non-perishable items. Once you have purchased these items, place your food donation into Santa's bin located at the front of the store. The Lions Clubs will collect your food contributions and assemble them into hampers to be delivered to the families in need around the island. Christmas comes once a year. Help make it a special time for every family in Bermuda. Sponsored in part by the Bermuda Broadcasting Company. Share the Christmas spirit.
From the very beginning, it was always our singular focus to do whatever it takes, use every possible resource to fight cancer, and never lose sight of the patients we're fighting for. Our cancer treatment specialists share the same vision. Experts from all over the world working closely together to deliver truly personalized cancer care. And these are the specialists we're proud to call our own. Expert medicine works here. Learn more at cancercenter.com. Appointments available now.
Win a trip or two to the 2019 Trinidad Carnival. When you purchase a car from Bermuda Motors, your name will be entered into a draw for a chance to win an all-expenses-paid trip for two, including flights, accommodation, and tickets to the Trinidad Carnival. Visit Bermuda Motors on Church Street or bermudamotors.bm.
And this just in, principals convened an emergency meeting this afternoon at the BPSU and then with the Ministry of Education regarding an increase in student behaviors in schools and the lack of adequate resources to deal with them. Principals are concerned that their working conditions are untenable. News now about enhancements to TV programming here at Bermuda Broadcasting. We have new shows, new features, and a fresh schedule that makes it easy to catch up on programs that you can't catch live. CEO Patrick Singleton and Program Director Ian Rollins talked to us about the changes and how they've been welcomed by viewers. And tomorrow they'll tell you about new innovations in radio.
Let's Talk, hosted by Gary Marino. It's back. It's been now for 2 weeks.
So what incentive is on the table for
that? Program gets underway Monday evenings at 8 p.m. on ZBM TV 9. The rebroadcast is on Wednesday mornings, ironically early, 7 a.m., and then again on Sunday mornings at 8 a.m., all on ZBM TV 9.
Really, OBA's performance after 16 months as opposition?
As you know, we reach the widest audience in Bermuda, online, over social media, through our terrestrial broadcasting, and through the cable TV system. So we wanted to be able to interact with our audience and be able to generate real-time information so Gary can ask a question of the audience and get immediate feedback, which he can then present to his guest to be able to stimulate debate, because I mean referendums happen rarely, elections happen rarely. It's unscientific, but it's real-time polling information. It's hugely beneficial, I think, to our show and for the community at large.
Real Sports Talk Bermuda obviously got underway last week, Tuesday. We have a two-part series. That event is on ZFP TV 7. It's live in studio, and the feedback's been tremendous.
We're heating up a little bit here with those comments, but
something that people have been asking for. Those who are sports lovers want to know how to improve our sports in Bermuda. So the event is going to be played again this Tuesday night, part 2. We'll be on ZFP TV 7 at 8 p.m. We replayed it already Wednesday afternoon at 4 p.m. and we will rebroadcast this coming Sunday, 11 a.m. on ZFP TV 7.
We're looking to tell the story about Bermuda and Bermuda business, not just international business, but also local businesses, and understand how the economy is moving and turning.
Blockchain has the potential to cut out the need for the middlemen.
Were you affected by the financial crisis?
So we've been bringing that to Bermuda for the last few months, and it's been hugely successful. I mean, a lot of demand, a lot of interest. We're just thrilled with that show.
The rebroadcast is in demand. People are asking, we saw it, we want to see it again. There are early risers in Bermuda, like myself, and we turn on TV. And then I go to my gym and people are watching ZBM. They watch our morning news, and now they get a chance to see Let's Talk and the breakdown in the morning on a Wednesday morning. And then again, you can see it Sunday mornings when people are home getting ready for church or just home having their codfish and potato breakfast.
We're working to bring closed captioning back. We want to ensure that all members of the community can get our content, right? There are members of the deaf community that can currently get closed captioning over YouTube, but we want to bring it for our network programming for CBS and ABC content. So we will begin doing that very shortly. Lots of new programming, lots of local content. We're trying to enhance our experience for our listeners and our viewers, both on TV, radio, and online. We want to be the national broadcaster. We want to provide, great programming and great services to the people of Bermuda.
And we'll have sports after the break. Stay tuned.
At Argus, our interest is you. Each of you. Around here, we know that when two people seem the same, they can have very different insurance needs. For their health, home, work, and future. Which is why we take the time to get to know you as an individual, so we can provide insurance coverage that fits your life. Because after all, our interest is you.
Within the Department of Youth, Sport and Recreation, our after-school programs and camps treat children as though they are the person they're capable of becoming. Sands, Hamilton, and St. George's Community Centers. We treat treat your kids as if they were our own, because we're your extended family. The Department of Youth, Sport, and Recreation. Your extended family.
Bermuda Broadcasting Company and lead sponsor HSBC is pleased to present the annual Christmas Boat Parade 2018. Join me, Keeble the Captain Burgess.
And me, co-host Diane Carlson, live from the flagpole on Front Street as we bring you the latest on the decorated Christmas boats in this year's competition on Ocean 89 starting at 6:30 p.m.
We'll have special guests joining us for interviews during the event. This live coverage of the Christmas Boat Parade on Ocean 89 is December 8th. This special presentation has been brought to you by lead sponsor HSBC.
Now Earl Basden brings us the very latest from the sports desk.
6 Bermuda bowlers have concluded taking on the world in Hong Kong during the World Bowling Championships.
Damian Matthews, Lamar Richardson, Dennis Jewell, Rikai Binns, Akeem Tolbert, and David Maycock made up the Bermuda team competing at the World Bowling Championships in Hong Kong. Following the event, Maycock led the Bermuda team, finishing 77th overall with a total of 4,164 pins. Binns finished 93rd with 4,115 pins, while Matthews finished 149th with 3,970 pins. Richardson finished 178th with 3,880 pins, while Joel finished with a total of 4,052 pins to finish 254th. Tolbert finished 258th with 3,494 pins. The Friendship and Shield preliminaries took place over the weekend, with the PHC Zebras defeating Paget Lions 4-0 thanks to a hat-trick from Sequoia Robinson in their friendship match, while the North Village Rams won their match against BAA 2-1. In the Shield preliminary, Vasco defeated St. David's 8-7 on kicks from the penalty mark after the two teams finished deadlocked 3-3 after extra time. Wolves defeated the Flanagan Onions 3-1, and Young Man Social Club defeated Island Rangers 5-3 after extra time. The Bermuda portion of the FEI World Dressage Challenge took place at the National Equestrian Center on Vesey Street on Saturday. Bermuda's declared team classification was made up of Angela Holleran Smith and Phenomenal AV, who had a score of 70.30%. Robin Stemple and Rosalind Royal 2 scored 61.15%. Claire Turner and Latango scored 61.79%, and Kelsey Amos, riding Roratero, scored 68.27%. Kaiwan Waldron in the bike of Gold and Glory clocked a time of 102 flat during the Bermuda Harness Pony Racing's 103 and 4 and faster time bar class, Heat 18, which was only 1/5 off the overall track record. Raquel Evans concluded competing in the 2018 Sailing Brisbane Regatta in the Finn class. Evans was able to finish 3rd overall with 16 net points after 8 races. Kamal Levrock and his Walkerville Cricket Club teammates defeated Goodwood Cricket Club by 26 runs in their rain-affected 40-over match. Batting first, Walkerville would score 239 for 5 in their allotted overs. Levrock scored a 13-ball knock of 37. He hit 3 sixes and 3 fours. In reply, Goodwood could only manage 213 for 6. Levrock was the pick of the Walkerville bowlers with figures of 9 overs, 2 for 42. David Lawrence led from wire to wire to claim the 2018 Gosling's International Invitational Golf Tournament at Belmont Hills on Friday. Kenny Lejour won the FCWT Junior Golf Tournament Falcon Fire 2018 Boys 12 to 14 age group after he finished 3rd overall in the tournament. Bermuda Pacers runners competed in the AAU Cross Country Nationals in Tennessee over the weekend. Ryan Otterbridge finished 41st, competing in the 15 to 18 boys 5K run, clocking a time of 19:48. Kazai Seeley, competing in the 13 to 14 4K race, finished 5th in a field of 176 competitors, clocking a time of 14:57. Morehouse College senior Trey Simons finished 97th, competing in the NCAA Division II Cross Country National Championships in Pittsburgh, clocking a time of
34-35. Dennis Embelenzi and Rosanna Hoy are the North Shore Medical Center Turkey Trot male and female champions. Embelenzi continued his winning streak as he crossed the line in a time of 34-54. Hoy finished 6th overall in a time of 39-59. I'm Earl Baisden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
Thanks, Earl. Well, that's our newscast for tonight. I'm Diane Brewer. Thank you for joining us. Please remember to join Gary Moreno for a brand new live edition of Let's Talk at 8 p.m. Good night.